Q and its implementation. Q is a long word. It could have been a single letter word also, but I don't know why. Let us move ahead. What is a queue? A queue is an arrangement of elements in such a way that they follow the rule of enter from the end but exit from the front. So first come, first out, last come, last out. First in, first out. FIFO. Here, as you can see, this is a very disciplined line in which someone is taking something. Let us now look into some program examples, implementations of queue in an array. Now the queue is a little bit bigger, a bit more than what the stack is. If you have done stack, then you will see that queue now takes in two variables. One variable marks the beginning or the front end, and the other variable marks the rear end. Rear means from the behind. Front means from where the exit will take place, and rear means from where the the entry will take place. If you see the example, there are again 2-3 ways of implementing. The first one here says front and rear both start with -1. If they do so, in that case, my first entry will therefore take place where R is going to go, not where R is currently, because -1, you cannot enter anything at cell number -1. So this is the waiting position. Rear is the one which is going to take care of the entry, and front is the one which is going to take care of the pop or the exit. Okay. Now, R indicates the first cell where here, if I look at, it is following pre-increment. That means R has to be first increased and then the element can be filled in. It cannot follow post increment. That means it cannot be first filled in and then moved, because -1 is not a valid cell only. Where to fill? Okay. Now if you look at the second element which is going in, you will see that R has gone to the position first, that okay, I'm going where you have to be sent, where the new element will come. So R first goes and then the element comes. Okay, so in this way, now if I now show you what will happen if one element is taken out. If one element is popped out, you see now front comes ahead. That means front moves ahead. We don't shift elements so easily. We change the position of front. If one more element is to be popped out or taken out, then front comes over to that place where rear is. Now you can see rear and front are in the same position, which is also meaning that there is no element present in the queue right now. Okay. Now there is an operation called reset. Reset operation brings back front and rear to -1, or the beginning in this case. So once I press reset, both front and rear shifts back to their elementary starting position. Now if you see, I have entered quite a few elements in the queue. R has come to a position which can say the queue is partially full. And if I want to make the queue fully full, then R will come and wait here. Okay. Now after this, if I see some elements are deleted or popped out, then front has come ahead. And then when the full queues, all the elements are popped out, front reaches the end. That means front and rear both are equal. That means there is nothing. After reset, front and rear both come to their initial position. This is one way of implementing queue. Another way of implementing queue is quite similar. Only that in this case, front and rear both are starting with 0. And since 0 is a valid cell number, I can say that rear can this time perform post increment, or it can follow rule of post increment. First fill where rear is and then let rear increase. And in this way, fill and increase will keep on taking rear to such a position where you will finally see rear has reached 9. Then it said fill and increase. When it filled 9, then it went up to 10. Right? Now is one thinking task for you. If you have front and rear both starting with 0, will it be possible for rear to implement pre-increment? That means if I first increase R and then fill it, when it will reach the last, then what will happen? Just think. Do you think something like this will happen? That R has reached, it is supposed to apply. If I want to apply pre-increment, then it will have to first increase and then fill. But is there any opportunity of that? Can it go to 10 and then fill that cell which is out of the bounds? In this case, one cell goes empty, but the rear cannot fill that in this combination. So overall, see the full thing all over again and check the combination. Should it be pre-increment or post-increment of rear if the starting value of rear is -1, or when the starting value of rear will be 0. Now, we will look at another type of queue which is called a circular queue. In a circular queue, what happens is the variables are allowed to come back in a circular fashion. The circular fashion says that okay, that was similar, only if you have come across the queue by filling and deleting, that means pushing and popping and pushing and popping. After quite some time, when you will get a situation like this, when the front is say in the middle somewhere and the rear is at the end. Now if you want to push something, instead of saying that there is no place, what it does is it takes R in the front. If it wants to utilize the front part of the circular queue or the queue, then R is allowed to come in front, provided that we are aware that the list is not beginning from 0 but from F. Okay, now if I have to bring R back, will it be -1? It will not be 0, or will it will not be 10, or will it be 0? Now think on it. Yes, this will what the circular queue will give the viewer as that from F, that means F plus 1 to the end and then come back from 0 to R is the circular view. If you imagine a circle, you will get that image. Then we will see this case where you go on pushing elements in the circular queue, and at one point you have to keep R less than F. You cannot allow R and F to become equal. Like this point, I can see one more element can be entered in this circular queue. I can enter one element at this position. Okay, but if I take R any further, what will happen is F and R will become equal, and the full queue will also give me a wrong impression of an empty queue. Right, this is a bit of tricky. Please take out little time, go through this all over and see how will you display a circular queue. That is one more task, and coming up are some more examples on stack and queue. Okay?